Days, that's how far away we are from early voting starting in Prince George's County. At the top of the ballot is the county executive's race, the highest ranking elected official in Prince George's County. 11 people vying for the job. It's an office once held by Angela Alsobrooks, who is now representing the state as his newest U.S. Senator. We invited all of the candidates to join us live in studio so we could talk about the issues that are impacting you at home. Well, today we are joined by Democratic candidate Calvin Hawkins. He is currently an at-large member on the council, and he was once a senior advisor to former county executive Sherman Baker. And today they find themselves competing against one another for the top job in Prince George's County. Mr. Hawkins, good to see you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's start with the big question. I think the one that everyone wants to know. Why are you vying for the job? What's in it for the voters?
Well, we're at a very pivotal moment. After 6 years of working with former county executive Angela Alsobrooks, I honestly believe we're moving in the right direction when it comes to public education, public safety, and even economic development. I've been the chair of the county council for 2 years of my 6 years on the county council, and I've been right there in the heat from COVID-19 to the federal furlough, and just how we're going to move our county forward. And I think I have the relationships, I have the leadership ability to move the county forward for really the next 10 years as the next county executive.
All right, we know you to be a numbers guy on the county council, of course, dealing with trying to crunch the numbers and make sure that the numbers work for county residents. Let's talk about education, something clearly that's important to you. Blueprint is the topic of a lot of conversation. It is something that's being touted as necessary to help move our children forward in their education, but it is putting a significant amount of pressure on the county budget. And with a $170 million deficit, people are really looking to Blueprint as a way of trying to save the county money, but it is a bit of a problem, at least according to some. Where do you fall on that issue?
Oh, the Blueprint for education is a very noble idea, but when the state presented this to the counties, the 23 counties in the city of Baltimore, there was no revenue stream. It's like, oh, this is a great idea, and it is. But people ought to know, especially in Prince George's County, 62% of our budget goes to public education. And now to add more, with the governor also adding teacher pension, teacher retirement, all those are state issues, and more of those issues or those financial responsibilities are coming back to local government as our state deal with their $300 billion deficit. So where I stand is important, it's something we need, but I believe 62% of the budget that we now present to the public school system in Prince George's County allows them to do a lot of stuff, because we still have our seniors, we still have our veterans, and we have all these other matters that we have to address, even public safety. So we can't afford to give any more money to our public school system, considering where we are with this looming deficit.
So you support Blueprint being sort of re-examined in some way, maybe adjusting those sort of financial contributions from the county?
Yes, I certainly do.
Okay. Let's also talk about public safety, which is something that a lot of people have been talking about too. Crime numbers certainly in the county have been fluctuating up one year, down the next. But one thing that we have seen continuously is the sort of involvement of young people involved in crime in the county. People are concerned about their public safety. They want to know that when they walk out their door, they're going to be safe going to and from work, hanging out in their communities. What do you say to people that are concerned about just living in the county and whether or not they'll be safe living there?
My friend, I want them to know, whether it's an adult, whether it's a young person, I'm going to remain, and it has been my stance over the last 6 years. I'm tough on crime, but I'm as equally tough on the root causes of crime, because we keep talking about crime, but we don't want to deal with the root causes of crime. As you know, I supported the county executive's curfew initiative, because we care about our young people, but we also want to ensure that properties, especially in business communities and neighborhoods, are safe. Young people are at a very pivotal moment, but they must understand we can't keep going out being irresponsible. For those who are irresponsible, the majority of our young people are doing the right thing, going to school, being productive. We just have to deal with those who are going astray. We're going to be tough on crime, but we still have to deal with the root causes of crime that's creating those young people, creating in the mind of our young people who are involved that that's their only measure for doing something in our county that's negative.
What do you believe are the root causes of crime in Prince George's County that directly impacts young people committing such offenses?
Single parent households, failure to have the kind of resources in their communities, mental health, drugs, and the lack of parenting, the lack of supervision, the lack of positive role models. And they're just looking for things to do. You know, I believe those are the areas that we need to address. More programs that reach them before. We have the capability, we have the resources when young people start acting up in school. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Glass Manor in Oxon Hill. I know what it feels like to live in an underserved community, unrepresented community where there are no resources. But we got to meet them where they are and catch them before they get too far out there. Because my whole goal, and one of my goals, I should say, as the next county executive, continue to do what I've been doing, fighting to get these young people the resources they need so they don't end up in our adult prison system. That's my fight.
The Prince George's County Police Department is struggling to fill so many vacancies. About 300 staff is what they need right now. When you think about trying to deal with this public safety issue, obviously you need officers to be able to deal with that. How are you going to work with the Prince George's County Police Department to get more boots on the ground so that you can deal with this ongoing issue regarding safety in the county?
I think one thing, the first thing I would do as the next county executive, as I'm working to do now as a council member at large, we need to remove from our Department of Human Resources the responsibility for recruiting, vetting, and hiring police officers. I believe that should be something that occurs over at the police department. Right now, it takes about 24 to 28 months to hire a police officer, vet a police officer, and hire him and take that person through training. We can cut that in half, I believe, if the police department had the opportunity to recruit, vet, and train their applicants, and we could then fill up a police department. There's about 406 vacancies, but in the meantime, I believe some of the officers who are working inside could could come out and be a part of our community police efforts. But I want to say to you, I believe our current police chief is doing an exceptional job with the resources he has and the men and women who are working with him. I believe they're doing an exceptional job. But to really deal with the crime in Prince George's County, more of our community partners and parents have to get involved. We have to take back our community. We can't continue just to rely on law enforcement.
Do you feel like it's lost at this point? That certainly your statement there suggests that.
No, not at all. The crimes are going down, but the perception is crime is out of control. So if the perception is there, we have to deal with that. One of the challenges we face in Prince George's County, no one really want to deal with it, is our officers are locking up individuals, and it's like a catch them and release them kind of reality in Prince George's County. So I believe our public safety officials, like our state's attorney, she and her team have to do a better job addressing some of the individuals, violent individuals we lock up. But I also want to share with you, in Prince George's County, 70% of the nonviolent arrests that are made daily in Prince George's County, 70% are either under the influence of alcohol, intoxicated, or under some psychotropic drug. So when you have that kind of reality, you can't keep just putting them in cells, at prison cells at our detention center. So what we've done is create a mental health place to take them to over at Luminous Hospital, trying to work instead of put them in our system, get them the help they need so they won't become returning arrestees. So I believe we are moving in the right direction as we push that kind of initiative. And as you may know, in our southern part of the county, we got a crisis center for individuals who are going through things, trying to not make incarceration, detainment, the first result of their interaction with our law enforcement officials. So I want our citizens to know, over the last 6 years, we've been very innovative and creative in how we're addressing the crime problem or the perception of a high crime problem in Prince George's County.
Well, part of your response there brings up this issue of the economy, right? You talked about the access that people have to sort of drugs and alcohol. Well, it's a lot easier to get a liquor store in Prince George's County than it is to get a grocery store. So what will you do specifically to get more commerce, to get more stable businesses within Prince George's County? People are quite concerned that in a county like Prince George's County that has a high median income, that has a high degree of affluence, that they're having to beg to get these sort of high-end businesses in their county. What do you say to that? How do you get it done?
I say to the citizens, as a member of the county council, we have responsibility for land use and zoning. In other words, we write the laws and discuss how to ensure that you can have those retail places, you can have these commercial places. For over 50 years, we had not changed or transformed or reformed our zoning laws. But when I became chair of the county council, I led the effort to change with some of my colleagues doing a lot of the work, but I was the chair that gave them an opportunity to work and move our zoning. So you don't see it now, but we have placed zoning in place where we can attract retail, where we can attract commercial. But the reality of it is we have the means and we have the locations, but retail high-end stores do not want to come to Prince George's County, and that's where I have.
Why do you
that's
think
what
they
they
don't?
say. That's where I have to work closely with our county council because it's a mindset.
But you're on the council now.
Right, I am, and as a result of being on the council now, I've been the one leading us towards setting up where we could get the kind of retail we want. But the challenge is many of our council members believe more in the social approach. We don't want development. We don't want economic. And you can't win. You can't have we have right now a 30% commercial tax base that creates revenue for us. However, we have a 70% tax base, residential tax base. We can't keep building on the backs of our residents. We can't keep spending and the revenues are not coming in. So I agree with you. And also, we have to change the perception of our public safety reality along with our public schools. We have built 14 schools over the last 6 years. People say, well, okay, so what? No place has done that in the history of this country. And not only that, our resources to our educators is going, we have provided that. We have given them professional training. Our test scores are going up, attendance records are going up. So after over 45 years of being close to either last or next to the bottom, citizens are not really seeing it. But we are moving towards that world-class education system that'll help us bring economic development in.
So what sort of commitment can you make for us today in terms of what sort of businesses Prince George's County will see if you are its new county executive? What
I will commit to publicly on your station is I will continue as I've done the last 30 years as an employee in Prince George's County, and particularly the last 6 years as a county council member. I will continue to fight every day to bring the best retail that we can to this county. I promise you that. And I will go down fighting every day with that kind of commitment, or that level of commitment.
Okay, so we're running out of time, but I do want to ask you one of these last questions, if we can. Northwest Stadium, all indications are pointing that the Commanders will make their way back to DC at some point. What are you going to do with Landover if that's the case? How do you make sure that that community, that area is stabilized and potentially have some other new businesses move in to really attract and even help out the tax base that's in that area?
I'm the only candidate that has been working for the last couple of years with our governor and his team to ensure that we keep the Commanders in Prince George. We're not just giving up, but at the same time, the owners of the Commanders, we have been in discussions with how will that area look. The residents in that area, not just Prince George's County, but the residents in that immediate area deserve the kind of economic development that will come as a result of our work with the owners of the Commanders, our state representatives. So what I'm saying to you is we believe we have a better plan than what the District of Columbia have to keep the Washington Commanders in Landover. And lastly, I want to say this.
And I'm sorry, but you're fighting and acting like the Commanders are going to stay, even though all indications are that they are going to D.C.
Money talks.
What is the plan? What is the plan if they leave?
Oh, it's what we've been talking to them about, an economic development plan that they own that land. We're not going to allow it. If they're successful, if Washington, D.C. is successful in getting them to return to RFK, we're getting a commitment in our discussions now that whatever happens, we got a start date that you're going to start economic development in that area to give it the kind of boost that our neighborhoods need and our county need. So I'll assure you, you heard it from me, we won't allow that to just be an elephant setting in Landover. We have already got our companies, we already got commitments to how that place will look. And again, working with the owners of the Commanders.
All right, Mr. Hawkins, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time today. We really do appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, okay? I appreciate you.
Well, as a reminder about some important dates, early voting for the special primary begins February 26th. It ends on March 3rd. Election day for the primary is the next day on March 4th. And Monday at 4:30, we will be joined by Democratic candidate Aisha Brayboy. She is currently the state's attorney for Prince George's County.